My next guest is not one to leave it to the judges. And on February 9th, he faces Manny Morales at CFFC 129 in the city of brotherly love. He is Lindsey Sweet Tea Jones. How's it going today, Lindsey?
I can't complain.
So we're just weeks away from your CFFC debut. Having an idea of when this card was being put together, like when did you get matchmade for this card?
Week and a half ago. A friend who was supposed to fight him, but there was some issues with that. I came into the gym on a Saturday morning. He said he wasn't going to fight him. And then I said, well, who is this guy? And then the coach told me who he was. And I haven't fought since July. And I've been dying to get on a card. And I said, I don't know when the next time an opportunity like this is going to arise, especially on a show like the CFFC. So I said right then and there, he goes, I'll take it. And yeah, bro, it was about a week and a half ago. Here we are now, signed the contract and everything.
Yeah, I actually had an interview scheduled, or starting to be scheduled, with that training partner that I won't name either. Nicknames, your nicknames rhyme a little bit if anyone wants to piece that together.
Oh, yeah.
But, you're now facing Manny Morales, 3-1 in his career, 2-1 with the promotion. And this guy cannot cut a break when it comes to opponents. Something happens, such as this situation.
Yeah.
Or they just don't sign the contract, and he's stuck kind of twiddling his thumbs. What, if anything, stood out about this opponent, besides just wanting to get back in the cage?
Me personally, I just want to get back in the cage and just fight again and be as active as possible. He looks to be tough, looks to have good jiu-jitsu. And besides that, man, to be honest, at this point in my career now, in my life, I don't really overthink it, don't look into it too much. I just signed the contract, I train hard, and just ready to go fight.
He does have a lot of jiu-jitsu. He's out of Web MMA, which is a dominant promotion or gym in the area that CFFC is kind of located in. Jonathan Webb runs the Fury grappling program under the CFFC banner. The one thing that did stand out, though, in looking at your record and his record, you've been to the judges once.
10 years ago.
He's been to the judges like every time besides, I think, once.
Yeah.
Outside of that, do you think that's an advantage on your end or disadvantage? He has more like cage time, I guess, but you have more finishes.
You could say that. It could be an advantage for him for, cage time and the duration of the fight. I'm a guy that, lives by the sword, dies by the sword in there. I'm hunting for the finish all the time. But, hey, we'll find out. I pretty much have a 100% finish rate as a pro. And let's see what happens February 9th.
And, you are, obviously, you can tell by your shirt, you can tell by looking you up, one of your main gyms is ATT. Are you still at Rush as well?
No, I am not. I lived down here in South Florida from 2016 till right before the pandemic hit. I trained up in Georgia at Rush MMA, and then with American Top Team Atlanta for a few years. I had some personal life things going on at the time, so I had to be home to take care of some family members. But once that ended, after my last fight in July, I packed my bags and drove back down here.
Yeah, you can't complain. Weather's pretty nice in both states, but Florida just has different weather. Once you get past the daily rain.
Bro, it's nice. I've been wearing shorts and flip-flops and going to the beach. I live probably half a mile away from the beach, man. It's paradise.
Awesome. So, at ATT, who are you really training with this time around?
Oh man, there's really too many people to name, to be honest with you, but I can name off a few. Santiago Ponzinibbio has been one of my good friends, and I've trained with him probably since 2015 or so. Sabah Hamasi, we train quite a bit. Grant Dawson, he's a handful, man. Train with him quite a bit. Chris Duncan, I think he's fighting on the UFC Mexico card. I think it's February 24th. Bro, everybody that's in that gym that is at 170 pounds, we do rounds. I'm going to mess up his last name, but Magomed, he won the PFL at welterweight. We train together. Bro, anyone at 170 pounds, even the bigger 55ers, we go. So it's really perfect. And there's a lot of, when you have a gym that is as big as ATT, there's new guys coming in every week. All the time. It's nothing to be in a practice and have 40 guys there. It's crazy. It's always packed. And even we've had practices where there's even more. I remember probably 2 months back, maybe a little longer, they counted 77 people at a wrestling practice. So you just have, I mean, it's a super team. There's tons of training partners, tons of looks. You know, we have tons of great coaches, and yeah, train with everybody, man. I know that's long-winded, but it's great.
Yeah, I know that is also a benefit too. Some people want to stay in the smaller gyms because it's more focused. You like more one-on-one versus the larger gyms. But with the ATT team, I know there's people who go from like ATT Lima down to like the main Coconut Creek location and bounce back and forth. Even from up here, we had Riley Palmer, who was a Philly suburb guy. He's now down there with you guys as well.
Done.
And another one who can't catch a break. Every time he's about to come back to make a return, something comes up that delays it.
Yeah.
I was at his debut, and it was literally the loudest debut I've ever been at. I actually recorded just the audio because you couldn't in the actual arena. I don't know if you've ever been up to 2300 at all yet, but it's a small little bingo hall. They used to run ECW shows there back in the day, and you couldn't hear the announcer announce him because of how loud it was.
Oh, so they're going crazy on Hero.
Yeah, and that kind of comes down to your fight now too, because you're fighting the hometown kid now this time too. So Philly comes out in force. I know Manny's a Jersey cat, but it's still local.
Oh, of course.
What do you think a win here and an upset per se does for your career at this point?
To be honest, it's just another fight. You know, get this one. Hopefully, fight again in April. Let's stay active. At this point in my life now, with where I'm at, I don't put too much emphasis on it. You know, I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to get this one and try to be in the UFC in the next fight or something. I'm more concerned about getting wins and improving, and I believe as long as I do that, the rest is going to take care of itself.
And you mentioned April. Are you on a multi-fight with CFFC? You can say that at all?
No,
Or is
I'm
it just
not. I can say that, but I'll say this. I know there's some things in works with other promotions that I've already voiced my opinion. And, hey, I'd like to get back out there. It's been about 7 months. I fought, I think July, is either 14th or 15th for the NFC in Atlanta. I fought then, and I tried to fight in 2023, but I'm sure, you talk to a lot of fighters. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, and it drives me crazy. If you look at my record, you can see I had quite a few years where I couldn't fight. And I really want to make up for that lost time I had.
Yeah, that's the thing with I think a lot of people don't understand too, is especially on the regional scene, everyone's trying to make it to the next step and or just compete. And when you're looking at the next step, some people are very picky. They don't want to fight a guy because if they lose X, Y, or Z, it could keep them at the regional level
For a little longer.
Yeah, like, I've seen people who were right on the verge and they took one loss and they're still around because. So yeah, I mean, outside of that, you're making your first trip up north, at least for this fighting, and as far as topology goes, this your first time up north?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I've never fought out of the Southeast before, so I'm looking forward to traveling and the experience and just the challenge in general, man. I don't mind being the out of town guy. I get it. It's part of the game, and you have to do it. And I'm sure I will not get many cheers in the arena that night, but hey, man, that's cool. It's what it is.
As long as they're making a sound effect, that's all that matters. They're at least interacting.
Pay me, I'll get out of there. I'll fly back to sunny South Florida and keep living life.
And when you do come up, who is coming with you? I know we've seen from ATT, we've seen King Mo come up a few times. We've seen Pitbull come up as well. Who's coming with you for this trip?
Sabah Hamasi. I don't know if you're aware who he is, but that's my dog, man. Ride or die, and we're gonna come up together and raise some hell.
Awesome. So that's February 9th. You are facing, like I said, kind of the hometown kid, little like interpromotional favoritism. not to call it out, but it's there.
What it is. That's there. No big.
Everyone has it. But outside of that, as an original fighter, you don't really make a lot for the fight itself.
Nah, man. You gotta someone like myself, you gotta work a second job, and like I gotta head to work in 2 hours, and I gotta work from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then be back at training at 11. And I've been doing this for months on end, and hey, it's just part of it, bro.
And where I also lead into is like the other side is sponsors and support. This is where I usually pass it over to you. Let you shout those guys out that have made this camp just a little bit easier on you. Mike's all yours. Not even just them, friends, teammates, whoever you want to shout out. Mike's all yours.
Yeah, man. I want to thank everybody at the American Top Team first and foremost. Any success I have in this sport is really to those guys, my training partners and my coaches. They're great, man. I really can't thank those guys enough. And to the gym I came from in Georgia, Rush MMA, to the coaches there, my training partners, they're part of my success. You can't do this alone. You can't just hit a bag in your basement and think you're going to make it. You got to have coaches and teammates. And a lot of my success I owe to them guys. So big shout out to my training partners and my coaches. Some of my sponsors I have is El Sombrero. It's a Mexican restaurant in Macon, Georgia. I love those guys. They really help me out every fight. Stokes Hardscapes. It's another company that sponsors me, that takes care of me for fights. Prim Industrial Coating is another one, also located in Macon, Georgia. Really, those sponsors right there help. Like you said, you don't get paid much in the regional scene. Especially for the amount of things we put our body through, and then in training, and then the risk you can take in the cage. So it makes the reward just a little bit better. And then, when that time comes to be in the bigger shows and make better money, hey, they're making it happen for me. So
awesome. So February 9th, Philly, I'll be there. I do all the Philly shows. So I'll find you and we'll get a drink or something after the fight.
of course, do it.
But I always like to promote also ticket sales. A little harder for you to sell that far away from home. So anyone that's looking to buy a ticket, if you don't know anyone else on the card, you're looking to try to help someone out. The blue corner is always looking for a little assistance, a little help, little dime in the pocket. CFFC.tv, you can select your name from the drop down. You get a little kickback, and it also helps, in future cards too. If you sell some, it helps later on. But outside of that, best of skill. I look forward to seeing it in person, and we'll meet up after the fight.
Hey, perfect, man. Let's go grab a drink and hang out for a bit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. See you.